Pre-recorded from my garage, it's the show that's convinced the current meta is just one giant conspiracy theory. I'm Anthony Mariona, with you as always, T. Watson. We are here to bring you the latest and greatest of Season 6. Week 3, or Week 3 recap of SPL. Today on the show, we're going to be going ahead and talking about the current Elite 14 standings and, you know, who's considered the number one trainer in the league right now. From there, we're going to go ahead and move on to a fan favorite, T's Tiers, which I know everybody is going to be excited about. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and review the weekly trainer medals and give you a little bit of updates heading into Week 4, which should be happening today. Be it that this probably is going to be releasing on Sunday. So I think we're looking forward to that. Yeah, you excited about the show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, same. I think we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, though. We're going to take a look at the top 14 with the current standing. Currently, we have Phil holding down the number one spot with 27 points, 83% win percentage. Paul coming in at second. Along with Carlo, both 27 points as well. Difference, of course, being that they both have 75% win percentage as opposed to the 83 that Phil has. From there, in fourth place, we have Dylan, also at 27 points, 60% win percentage. Then Mike Moreno, fifth, Luke, sixth, Will, seventh, Paul, Dagger, Arius, Audrey, David, Scott, Brandow, and then to round out the top 14, we have Henry Thompson. Yeah. So I think the big thing right now for us is really, you know, we have Phillip, who's currently number one, and I mean he's doing an outstanding job. He just recently took over first place. Gleason, I think, didn't play this week, so that kind of like helped that out. But Phil has been consistent throughout the entire thing. The question really is Phillip the best trainer currently in the SPL?
I don't think so. Not a knock on Phillip, but I think there are maybe one or two trainers that are slightly better than him. So,
wait, any reason why?
Well, you know, I've seen these people play. Some of them are former champions, you know. And I think just their grasp on the meta and playing the game is just a little bit above Phil's.
Okay, I mean, this is my thing. I think I know who you're talking about in relation to what this discussion is. And, well, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think sometimes we kind of blur the line between the best trainer and the most talented trainer. Yeah. And I feel like Phillip right now brings a level of consistency that we're not seeing from some of the other trainers. Hence the reason why he is in first place. And even the reason why I would actually say that he probably is the best trainer in the SPL right now. Not saying that he's there at the skill level or the talent level that some of the other trainers are, but talent only gets you so far. Consistency is the thing that kind of separates you. I think Ray Kroc kind of brought that up in the whole McDonald's thing and all of that stuff. And I feel like that's where he is. Now, once again, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's the most talented. I feel like you have people like Mike Moreno, David Gervin, who had an incredible start to the season. Even Gleason, to an extent, I mean, missing this week, dropping out of the top, but still being someone that we've seen time and time again be really, really good. Yeah. You have those players. I mean, heck, even if you look at Dylan Brandow or Luke, I mean, there's so many talented players. But at this point, Phillip has been the most consistent. Maybe it is the fact that he's playing at Skyscraper. I'm one of the contestants there, one of the trainers. I know I'm not good, but I feel like Phillip has earned the right to call himself the best trainer currently in the SPL, given the consistency as well as the performance that he's been able to put in. I mean, the man just finished this past weekend going 4-0 at Skyscraper as well. So going back to you and throwing it back to you, who would you say is the trainer that you feel is the best right now?
I think if we look down at exact number 14, Henry Thompson is probably the best trainer that we have in SPL. He took a week off, but he went 5-0 in the first week of SPL. Took a week off, came back and went 5-0 yet again. Though these games are at Fire and Ice, and Fire and Ice does do best of one, there's a level of consistency there for going 5-0 twice.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this is the thing. Henry's the first time champion that we had. He's been incredible, not just in the SPL circuit, but ultimately throughout his Pokemon career.
Yeah.
The kid has only gotten better and better and better and better, to the point where he's probably one of the top performers that Sacramento has in our area. So I don't necessarily disagree with that. But once again, when it comes down to what the SPL is, I still find the lack of consistency, right? Phillip hasn't missed a week. Phillip has gone undefeated this past week. Phillip is playing at a locals that, caters more towards the best of threes, the more consistent matchups. Sometimes you could just hit a run in those best of ones, and next thing you know, you're like, boom, 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 popping people off. And it's like, well, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that there does take some skill and some talent, along with a really good understanding of what the current meta is. In order for you to be able to do that on a consistent basis. Once again, 2 out of the 3 weeks, Henry has been able to do that, with one of those weeks being a week where he took off. But at the end of the day, I still feel like Phillip is the person that is doing the most consistent work. So that's where I think it really kind of separates them for right now. Once Henry kind of gets back into the swing of things and is here consistently, then Henry's probably going to be up there towards the top. He's probably going to be someone that you're going to see in the finals. And I can't imagine Henry not really like giving it his all and mopping the floor with some of us as time goes on. But I just feel like right now, end of week 3, heading into week 4, Phillip has earned that right to be able to sit there and say, I am the best, and let people try to prove it in their consistency and their play. Gervin was somebody else that was like that last season.
That is true.
There's that. But then he had a really tough week this past week as well. But guys, that's our take for the current standings. Definitely a lot of changes that are going to be happening in the upcoming weeks. But these are the 2 trainers I think right now where there's a lot of spotlight on them heading in. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a quick little break, and then when we get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into T's Tiers, which I know everybody is excited for. So catch you after the break. Listen, the truth is messy, but last night, a desperate plea was answered. A diverse council of former competitive eaters, professional dog groomers, and local conspiracy theorists who claim Bigfoot is real wrestled with the data. They grappled with logic, they nearly came to blows, and from that glorious, heated struggle emerged a controversial yet undeniably brilliant assessment of our league's current hierarchy. This isn't just a segment, it's a revelation. It's an honor and a privilege, potentially career-ending. It's time for T's Tiers. T, take it away.
Well, as per usual, I don't want to do these, but we were in the lab late last night and had to come to terms with what this is looking like. Let's just kick it off. First tier, Professor Oak's discard. This is a tier where a lot of players who aren't meeting expectations aren't just playing the game at all. And
we're discarded.
Yeah, just discarded. I'm basically out of the running. So to kick it off, we have Ant and myself, both in Professor Oak's discard. Joining us is Vince Sandoval, who hasn't shown up anywhere. Michael Lestrap, King. Both the Nugents, both Caitlin and Mercedes, Ethan, and then Emmanuel Reynoso. Just not meeting expectations, or playing kind of wacky decks, not getting the results they're really looking for, or going to time a lot, things like that. For our next tier, we have the Route 1 regulars. These are people that you're going to see consistently. They may not be doing the best, but you're always going to see them kind of in the middle right there. For that, we have Scott Brandow, Dagger, Andrew Saldana, my favorite, Paul Johnson, Nathan Laswell, Farnlocker, AJ Batista, and who is it?
I think that's it for
I think that's it. You know, these are people that you're going to see either playing wacky decks and doing decently well, or just always in the middle of the pack. Especially Farnlocker, who can't get real wins to save his life. But, well, you know, we take the wins as they come. He's doing better than me, and that's all that matters. For the next year, we have our gym badge grinders, the people that you're going to consistently see at top tables at your locals, the people who are always trying to stay at the top spot in that top 14 race. Their names are always going to be mentioned, sort of. We got, you know, David Gervin, Luis, we got Luke Brandau, we've got Arias, and we've also have Audrey. Audrey being, you know, one of my favorites in the tier. Always plays really consistent decks. Even though Arias right now might be my dog playing Grimmsnarl.
What a weenie.
Grimmsnarl is the best deck right now, in my opinion. So, but these are the players. Even though Gervin had that really ish showing this week, going 1-4. You know, he's still a former champion, and he's still, you know, gonna have the ability to bounce back. We hope. Right? From there, we have our Elite 5. These are, you know, 5 really top trainers. We got Dylan Brandau, we have Mike Moreno, Paul Akabori, Will Hildebrandt, and Nick Gleason. These are 5 names that you guys probably all recognize because they're always gunning for top spots. You know, the top is through them, basically. So, Mike Moreno, also a Grimmsnarl guy.
No one likes
Been
that
playing
guy.
Raging Bolt recently. Don't know how I feel about that. Deck's kind of, you know, mid. But, you know, I love him. Ant's questionable.
No love.
And then finally, we have our Mythical Masters. These 3 trainers are the cream of the crop in the league. And honestly, I can see either of these 3 taking home the title this season. We have Henry Thompson. Again, he has a 100% win rate, going 5-0, 2 weeks. We have Carlo De Castro, whose name you can't mention without mentioning top spots in this league. And then now Phillip Chao, who's making a name for himself, making some noise. He is first place in the standings right now, but I think that can change between these 3 players.
So, your list is interesting. You and the committee, you guys did some things. I think, well, the general vibe of the list, while I'm looking at it, and we'll pull it up again right now, I feel like it definitely... It's there. Like, I get the vision with it. I still feel like there are a couple things that you're missing on, some tweaks that you need to make, and it really kind of comes down to, are you ranking these players left to right, or is it more just kind of like they're on the spots?
They're on the spot.
Okay, so this would be my first gripe, and it's more out of respect for the win percentage. I think that's where I'm going to be coming from with this. Mercedes, I believe, currently has a win percentage similar to AJ's, and I just don't really understand the reason why a 50% AJ is going to be higher than a 50% Mercedes, when I think right now AJ's 21st and Mercedes is 22nd, yet Mercedes is going to be in the Professor Oak's discard. So that one, I get it. You know, AJ does have more experience. I'm not saying that AJ needs to come down, but I feel like Mercedes maybe needs to go up. What's your take? What's the reasoning?
My reasoning is AJ is a player who really does well and then leaves after getting his 9 points. Or what he's done this season is he'll get a couple of wins, but then when he loses, he just dips. He's like you from a couple seasons ago.
That's me now.
Yeah, exactly. So if AJ would stay, I see, the caliber player that he is, and I just rank him a little bit higher.
I guess, like I said, I'm looking at this and I feel like, well, I don't disagree that AJ from an experience standpoint has the advantage there. I'm not saying he needs to drop, but I still see Mercedes as someone, they have similar points totals. I think they're both tied at 13. They both have a win percentage of 50%. I feel like she does need to be up there. Now, the other person we could talk about would maybe be King, but King also has a winning percentage of only 37.5%. So I see the nuance there. I just feel like Mercedes needs to go up. The other one that I would feel, needs to be something that's discussed and talked about is probably going to be Carlo. And I'm not saying that Carlo isn't a good player, right? I love Carlo. I have a lot of respect for him. But right now, you have Henry Thompson, who's a former winner, a tournament winner, and once again, one of the best in Sacramento when it comes to regionals, ICs, everything. Like, the kid is slowly making his mark in the Pokemon community in a bigger picture. But you have Carlo, who is sitting there at a 75% win percentage, and he's in the same tier as Phillip and Henry. Phillip being the number one trainer right now at 83%. Henry being who Henry is right now. And then you have Carlo. And then you have Paul, Akabori, who is also at 27% or 27 points and a 75% win percentage. I feel like Carlo needs to come down. I feel like Carlo is if you were to look at all three of them in the Mythical Masters, he's the odd duck. He's the what's the thing where you're like, which one doesn't fit? I would feel like he's the one. Now, once again, granted, Henry is 14th in the league right now. I'm basing this solely off of past performance with winning a championship with us, along with what he's currently doing. Phillip leading in points as well, or tied with everybody at 27, but also leading in a win percentage. I feel like Carlo needs to come down. I feel like Carlo needs to be in, no longer Elite 5, Elite 6. Add him there with the same tier as Paul, and I feel like that's fine. What's going on with that?
So my thing with Carlo is, for the last 2 seasons, Carlo has been either the top point earner or top 2 from season 5 and season 4, getting himself those round 1 buys when it comes to top 14 playoffs. And right now, he's right there in second place. He's really consistent with it. He's started tying a little bit less, because we know Carlo is known for tying, and I got to give him credit. He's still playing Guardy, and he's still playing it to a really high level. So
okay, that's fair, but that also kind of plays a little bit to my point. Carlo, those first couple of seasons that he's been in the league, and once again, Carlo, I love you. I love you. He tied more than anybody else. If we still had the stats from the previous seasons, that was my fault. Forgive me, everyone.
Yeah, you have more ties than me.
The most amount of ties out of everybody. And maybe the format with it changing kind of changed the way that he has to play in the aggressive style that Guardy may play into. But I feel like, once again, no disrespect to him, it just has to go off of this season and what we're currently seeing. I feel like he needs to just come down one tier. That's my take. Other than that, I think the tier list, between him and Mercedes going up, him coming down one tier, is perfect. You kind of hit the nail on the head. I think this is also one of the first ones where you didn't have Mike in the top tier. I think Mike's the only trainer that's ever had his own tier by himself as well.
That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely that. But you and the committee did a pretty good job. I'll say that. One day you're gonna get it right.
What? This was right.
That's where it'll be. But with that being said, everyone, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Coming back, we're gonna go ahead and jump into T's weekly trainer medals and just a few updates that we have for the league heading into week 4. But until then, catch you guys after the break. All right, coming back from the break, first we want to thank everybody for, watching the video, subscribing, doing all those fun things. We are inches close, subscriptions closer to catching up to Mr. Beast, and I am so excited about that for when it eventually happens. But right now, we're going to go ahead and jump into T's weekly trainer medals. T, go ahead and take it away.
All right. So for the bronze medal, first medal given, it's going to go to Emmanuel Reynoso. So I know I put him at the bottom tier list, but just like I gave Paul Johnson his flowers for when he earned 9 points, I gotta give Emmanuel his flowers, going 3-1 at Skyscraper, just playing really well and showing that, if you just keep at it, you can get your 9 points and make it there. So
I respect that. Game has to recognize game. And at the end of the day, yes, you're on the bottom with us right now from the tiers, but 9 points I haven't done that in a long time.
Same.
Yeah, but then I also am coming back after being out for a year, so whatever. But go ahead, bronze medal, well deserved.
Yeah, congrats. For our silver medal is gonna go to first place, Phillip Chao, going 4-0 at Skyscraper, netting himself, some nice packs, first place in standings. Congrats. You're doing very well for your first season, and we have to recognize that.
Good job, Phillip.
Yeah, nerd. And then last but not least, our gold medal. I've already shouted him out in this, but Henry Thompson. Henry Thompson doing what no other trainer is doing, which is back-to-back 5-0s. At 100% win rate so far this season. We do have to recognize that because this kid is insane, and I look forward to what else he is going to do, not just in this league, but in the Pokemon community.
Do you think he's going to be able to beat David Gervin's record from season 4? Didn't Gervin go like...
man.
6 or
like
7
6 weeks.
Yeah, of going undefeated. Like he never lost. I think that had to have been the record at the time.
Yeah.
Because no one did that in season 5 during the money season.
Nope.
And then this season, we're only done with week 3, but do you think he has the ability to do that?
I think he can.
In single in best of ones?
Yeah.
That seems so hard.
Right? But
because best of 3s, you have the ability to kind of play that thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Best of ones, you brick one time, you're done. If he does that in a best of 1 format, that is,
if he can do it and keep going 5-0 or 4-0 over at Fire and Ice, I think he has the ability to. That
definitely is pretty good. Like I said, I'm really excited about seeing some of these guys and what they're going to do. Phillip is one that is very intriguing because I feel like over the past few seasons we've had not necessarily regulars with us, but those newcomers that have really come in.
Yeah.
Tyler Newman during season 3 came in and lit the world on fire.
Yeah.
Gervin in season 4.
Yeah.
And now Phillip is kind of taking the mantle for the newest trainer. We used to do rookie of the years, and definitely starting off on the right foot, he would be one of those people. But this is a really good weekly trainer medals. I think they're all well deserved. And really, really happy about that. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up with our weekly updates, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a heads up. USG was closed this past week. They're going to be back to being open this week.
Yep.
It had to do with, of course, the holiday and everything like that. So just make sure to keep that in mind. The other thing, and this just kind of comes with everything that happened, I guess, in the group chat that we have for SPL, please make sure you guys are double checking your points. We are people. This is something that we do for fun for everybody. We try our best to be on top of everything as much as possible, but we are, once again, human beings.
Yes.
And because of that, we can sometimes make mistakes. So please, every week, double check your points. Make sure that things are there. If you do see that you are missing some points or something wasn't reported right, please just contact us. No need to get into the group chat and, things like that. It's uncalled for. I like to think that we're all friends here, and we can all have conversations with each other. No one's trying to get over on people. No. I don't even know how that would work with us.
No.
But just you see anything, you need something, reach out. We're going to do everything we can in our power to make sure that you guys are taken care of, because that's all we ever wanted to do. We're friends. We're, if for lack of better, no, I'm not going to say family. We're friends. We know each other. Some of us are acquaintances, but at the end of the day, we're people, and we're going to do the best that we can. Sometimes shit happen, or things happen. Sorry, that was on me. But yeah, T, the last one, you were mentioning that there are going to be some changes to some of the tournament rules, which should have taken effect last week, but we want to kind of make everybody aware of this week.
Yeah. So as of July 1st, Pokemon has announced that we are allowed to implement the new time rules, which is no longer plus 3 turns, but it is plus 1 turn and a 10-minute timer. Going forward, I know a lot of locals will be adopting the system. So like Fire and Ice, Great Escape, and Skyscraper as well will be adopting the plus 1 turn, 10-minute timer system. So what I can say is try not to go into time. But for those of you who don't know what that means after time is called in the round, you have the current turn, which is turn 0. And then after that, you have your opponent who has the plus 1 turn, or turn 1. And then after that turn is done, you check prizes. And if somebody hasn't won the game, then you tie. But on top of that, you have a 10-minute timer to finish both of those turns. And once the timer goes off, if the game has not concluded with a winner, then you tie as well. So just be on the lookout for that. Be mindful of your turns. Play at a steady pace, and try not to go into time.
Pokemon really likes ties, huh? I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! They hate ties.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Absolutely hates ties.
Hates tie. I wish Pokemon had more of that. I hate tie, because I'm not a tie fan. If anything, I think you know this too. I'm a big proponent of best of ones. Yeah. Just get in and out. I want to be able to go play some cards and get home at a reasonable time. Mm-hmm. But I'm also old, so there's that. But yeah, Pokemon. Do you foresee a time when Pokemon is no longer gonna like ties?
Well, there was one point where Pokemon had, if you're up in prizes in time, then you would win.
We should just adopt that for the league.
But given that there are so many control decks, or decks that don't like taking prizes, like mill and things like that, they shied away from that to give those types of players, Henry, we're looking at you, a chance at a fair match.
Yeah, see, I don't like those players, so I am perfectly fine with them, facing the repercussions of their terrible deck choice. Yeah. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. It was a pleasure. It's fun. For me, for T, we will catch you guys at locals.
Yeah.
Peace.
Deuces.